This story was sent to us by a subscriber from Austin, Texas. He wrote that people say revenge is bad and that we should forgive. But when someone murders your soul, forgiveness isn't the answer. Justice is. This is his story. I walked into the room and she was laughing on the phone. Her voice was low but clear enough for me to hear. She said, "Just 2 more weeks, babe. As soon as he signs the house papers, half the property is mine. Then I'll divorce that idiot and come to you." She was laughing. That was my wife, Sarah, the woman I hadn't taken a single day off for in 5 years, the woman whose student loans I worked double shifts to pay off. I stood there at the door. I wanted to storm in, snatch the phone, and scream. I wanted to ask her how she could do this to me. I wanted to break everything. But I didn't. I stepped back silently, and I walked out of the house without making a sound. That day I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I sat in my car and made a decision. I wasn't going to divorce her, not yet. Divorce was too small a punishment. I was going to give her exactly what she deserved. I was going to break her at the exact moment she thought she had won. We had been married for 7 years. I was 32. She was 29. I'm a mechanical engineer, and Sarah was always a free spirit. When we met, she was drowning in debt. $65,000, no degree, no job, but I loved her. I promised her I would fix everything, and I did. For the first 5 years of our marriage, I became a machine. I wore old clothes. I used a phone with a cracked screen. I took sandwiches from home for lunch. Why? So Sarah's debt could be paid off, so Sarah could live her life. She wore brand name clothes. She went on trips with friends. She used to tell me, "You're so boring, you never enjoy life." I would just smile. I thought I was doing it for our future. For the last 6 months, we had been planning to buy our dream home. It was beautiful, 5 bedrooms, a massive garden. The price was $800,000. I was paying the down payment alone, my life savings, $150,000. But on the papers, the names were going to be both of ours, joint owners. That meant the moment I signed, she would legally own half the house. And that phone call explained everything. She didn't love me. I was just an ATM machine to her. An idiot who would pay her debts, buy her a house, and then watch her sell half of it to run off with her boyfriend. When I came home that night, she was watching TV. She looked at me, smiled, and asked, "Should I heat up dinner?" Looking at her smile made me want to vomit. The face I loved more than anything in the world now looked like the most disgusting thing I had ever seen. But I controlled myself. I smiled back and said, "No, I'm tired. I just want to sleep." The next 2 weeks were the hardest test of my life. I had to sleep next to her every night. I had to listen to her fake words of love every day. She talked about the house constantly. "We'll paint the walls this color, we'll get new furniture." And me, I just nodded. Inside, I was burning, but on the outside, I was cold as ice. I started my investigation. When she was in the shower, I checked her laptop. I found everything. Emails, photos. His name was Michael, her old colleague. Reading their chats tore my heart apart. Sarah had written, "Just endure it for 2 more weeks. Then he'll be broke and we'll be rich." Michael's reply was, "Squeeze that idiot for everything he has." Idiot. Yes, I was an idiot, but not anymore. The closing date for the house was Friday, the day we had to go to the lawyer and sign. Sarah was so happy. She had already invited all her friends and family for a housewarming party. She posted on Instagram, "New beginnings." Blessed, she didn't know that a new beginning was indeed coming, just not the one she thought. Friday arrived. We reached the lawyer's office. Sarah was wearing her best dress. She was vibrating with excitement. Michael was texting her constantly. I could feel her phone buzzing on the table. We sat in the conference room. The lawyer placed a stack of papers on the table. He said, "Congratulations to you both. Just sign here and the house is yours." Sarah picked up the pen immediately. Her hands were shaking with joy. She put the pen on the paper to sign. I placed my hand over hers and stopped her. Silence filled the room. Sarah looked at me in shock. "What's wrong, honey?" I pulled an envelope out of my jacket pocket, and I placed it on the table. I said, "Before signing the house papers, you need to sign this." She laughed, nervous. "What is this, some insurance paper?" I said, "No, Sarah, it's a separation agreement." The color drained from her face. "What do you mean?" I looked at the lawyer whom I had already briefed. Then I turned to Sarah. My voice was completely flat, no emotion. "Sarah, I know about Michael." That sentence, just those 5 words, and her world stopped right there. Her eyes went wide, her mouth hung open. I continued. "I know about your plan, how you were waiting for me to sign so you could take half the house. I also found the messages where you called me an idiot." She started crying. "No, that's not true, you're misunderstanding." I threw the printouts of her chats on the table. "Is this a misunderstanding too?" The lawyer watched silently. I said, "So here is the new plan. I am buying this house, alone, in my name. You don't have a single dollar in it, because I checked the down payment is mine. I am divorcing you. And since you relied on me for the last 5 years, you now have no job, no home, and no money." She fell to my feet. Literally, she sat on the floor, grabbed my legs, and started sobbing. "Please don't do this. I have nowhere to go. Michael won't take me in. I'll be on the streets." I pulled my leg away. I said, "That's something you should have thought about when you were bringing him into my bedroom." I signed the papers alone. and I walked out, leaving her crying on the floor. But the revenge wasn't over yet. Remember the housewarming party she planned? By 6 p.m., guests started arriving at the new house. Sarah's parents, her friends, my friends, everyone was there. Sarah wasn't there. She was calling me, but I had blocked her. I arrived at the house. I stood at the gate, and I made an announcement to everyone. Thank you all for coming, but unfortunately the party is canceled because Sarah doesn't live here anymore. Actually, Sarah decided she wanted to live with her boyfriend, Michael, so we are getting a divorce. Silence, deadly silence. Her parents' faces were worth seeing. The shame, the shock. Over the next 2 hours, I packed all of Sarah's belongings. Her clothes, her shoes, her makeup. I stuffed everything into large black trash bags, and I threw them in the driveway outside the garage. I sent her one text message from a blocked number. Your stuff is outside, it's about to rain, you better hurry. It has been 6 months today, I am in my house. I am alone, but I am at peace. Sarah. Michael left her the moment he found out she didn't get any money. She is now living back in her parents' basement. She is working as a waitress at a coffee shop. She emails me begging for forgiveness, but I just hit delete. Sometimes I sit at night and wonder, was I too cruel? I could have left her quietly. I didn't have to humiliate her like that. But then I remember her laugh on the phone when she was mocking me to Michael, and I feel like I did the right thing. But I want to ask you, am I the villain? Should I have given her another chance? Or does a cheater deserve exactly what she got? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And if you think she got what she deserved, hit that like button. The next story is even crazier. Subscribe so you don't miss it.